Imagine a world where war is a business, where the sounds of bombs dropping are the chimes of cash registers, and where the chaos of conflict masks the clarity of profit margins. For the past 40 years, this has not been a dystopian fiction, but a harsh reality. As conflicts have erupted across the globe, from the mountains of Afghanistan to the deserts of Iraq, a deeper narrative unfolds, one where strategic interests align more closely with economic gain than with territorial or humanitarian concerns. In this essay, we will peel back the layers of this narrative, exploring the complex interplay of forces that profit from war. We will see how the machinery of conflict is fueled not just by ideology or security concerns, but by a potent and often overlooked motivator: financial gain. In the last 4 decades, the world has witnessed an array of conflicts that have reshaped borders, economies, and lives. These conflicts, while diverse in their geography and characters, share a common backdrop: a world increasingly viewing war through the prism of profit. This introductory section sets the stage for a deeper exploration into the economic underpinnings of modern warfare. War, often seen as a tool for geopolitical maneuvering, also functions covertly as a lucrative enterprise. As we venture into this exploration, it becomes critical to frame our understanding of war not just as a political or moral issue, but as a complex economic equation. Wars are expensive endeavors, requiring vast sums of money for military equipment, logistics, and manpower. But where does this money come from, and who truly benefits from these expenditures? The financing of war involves a tangled web of government budgets, private contracts, and international loans, often obscured from public scrutiny. The military-industrial complex, a term popularized by President Dwight D. Eisenhower, describes the relationship between a country's military and the defense industry that supplies it. This relationship is not merely symbiotic, it is often a driver of foreign policy decisions. For instance, the Iraq War showcased the pivotal role of private contractors and arms manufacturers, turning war into a profit-making theater. In the shadows of the battlefield, a variety of stakeholders reap substantial financial rewards. Defense contractors and arms manufacturers are at the forefront, providing the tools necessary for combat. Their influence in policymaking can be profound, often lobbying for actions that align with their business interests. Politicians also play a crucial role, aligning themselves with defense lobbyists and contractors. The interplay between politics and business in the context of war is complex and often controversial. For example, Halliburton, once managed by former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney, secured contracts worth billions in Iraq, raising questions about the intersections of corporate profit and public policy. The aftermath of invasion and conflict is usually grim for the invaded country. Economically, wars can drain national treasuries, destroy infrastructure, and disrupt markets. Iraq and Libya, rich in oil, have seen their wealth plundered and their economies shattered, leading not just to fiscal loss, but to prolonged societal chaos. Politically, wars often leave behind a vacuum that can lead to unstable governments or power struggles, as seen in Afghanistan post-Taliban removal. The promise of democracy frequently gives way to anarchy or authoritarianism, complicating the recovery process further. The human cost of war extends far beyond military casualties. Civilian lives are frequently disrupted, displaced, or destroyed. In Syria, millions have fled their homes, creating one of the most severe refugee crises in history. The psychological scars borne by survivors manifest in various forms of trauma, affecting generations. The destruction of social fabric and community structures also has a profound and often underreported impact. The global arms trade is a significant contributor to ongoing conflicts around the world. Major powers, including the USA, Russia, and China, are key players, supplying weapons and military technology to allies and proxies. This trade not only perpetuates existing conflicts, but often escalates them, leading to more severe humanitarian and geopolitical consequences. The flow of arms into war zones like Yemen and Ukraine has sustained conflicts that might otherwise have waned, demonstrating the detrimental role of international arms trade in global peace and security. Economic sanctions are often employed as a means of exerting international pressure without direct military involvement. However, the effectiveness and morality of sanctions are highly debated. While intended to punish regimes, they often exacerbate the suffering of ordinary citizens, leading to economic hardship and exacerbating humanitarian crises. The case of Iran illustrates the complex impact of sanctions. Intended to curb nuclear developments, the sanctions have also crippled the economy, affecting millions of ordinary Iranians who struggle with inflation and scarcity of basic goods. The media plays a pivotal role in shaping public perception of war. Often, media outlets are financially or politically linked to interests that benefit from conflict, leading to biased or incomplete coverage. During the Gulf War, for example, media portrayal was heavily managed, with embedded journalism that often showed a sanitized version of the war, focusing on technological prowess and military precision. This selective coverage serves the dual purpose of maintaining public support for the conflict and obscuring the less palatable aspects of war, such as civilian casualties and the true costs of conflict. Many modern conflicts are driven not just by political or ideological differences, but by a desire to control valuable resources. The Gulf War was significantly influenced by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, largely due to Kuwait's oil reserves. Similarly, wars in the Democratic Republic of Congo have been fueled by the rich mineral resources, essential for electronics and manufactured goods. These resource wars not only perpetuate violence, but also cause severe environmental degradation, adding another layer of cost to the already steep price of conflict. Wars can have profound macroeconomic effects, influencing global oil prices and stock markets. Economies of countries involved in war can experience mixed impacts. While some industries like defense manufacturing might see a boom, others suffer due to instability and capital flight. The concept of a war economy can be seen in the United States during World War II, which pulled the country out of the Great Depression. More recently, Russia's economy has felt the impact of its military actions in Ukraine, with sanctions and military expenses influencing its economic landscape. Post-war scenarios, rebuilding, and profit. The end of conflict does not mark the end of economic implications. Post-war reconstruction offers lucrative opportunities for companies specializing in construction and infrastructure development. However, this also raises questions about the motives behind foreign aid and investment. In Bosnia and Kosovo, international involvement in reconstruction has been a double-edged sword, providing necessary resources, but also creating dependencies and opportunities for external influence and profit. Ethical considerations and peace efforts. The ethics of profiting from war are deeply troubling. As societies grapple with these moral quandaries, the role of international organizations and peace efforts becomes crucial. However, the effectiveness of these bodies is often limited by political interests and the power dynamics of the global order. Peace talks and treaties can sometimes serve more to stabilize regions for economic exploitation rather than address underlying issues or justice for affected populations. Looking forward, the future of conflicts. As technology advances and global dynamics shift, the nature of warfare is evolving. Cyber warfare, drones, and automated systems are likely to play increasing roles. Geopolitically, regions like the South China Sea and the Arctic are becoming hotspots due to their strategic and resource significance. Mitigating the influence of profit in these future conflicts will require a concerted effort from global communities, stringent regulations on arms trade, and a re-evaluation of international law regarding warfare. Conclusion: the intertwining of profit and war is a complex and often concealed aspect of global conflicts. This exploration reveals the myriad ways in which economic interests shape warfare, often at the expense of human lives and ethical considerations. As we move forward, a greater emphasis on transparency, accountability, and ethical governance is essential to change the narrative of war from one of profit to one of peace. In concluding, we are called to not only reflect on these realities, but to act towards a world where war is no longer a profitable endeavor, but a last resort. The essay War and Profit: Unveiling the Hidden Agendas carefully unpacks the intricate relationship between financial interests and armed conflicts over the past 4 decades. By dissecting the economic underpinnings of war and identifying the beneficiaries, the essay sheds light on a somber reality. War is often more about profits than ideologies. From the devastations in invaded countries to the global arms trade and the influential role of media, the narrative illustrates how deeply embedded economic motives are in the fabric of conflicts. The essay concludes with a call for greater transparency and ethical governance, urging a shift from profit-driven warfare to a commitment to peace. This comprehensive analysis not only informs, but also challenges us to rethink the complexities of modern warfare and its profound implications on human lives and global stability.